Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the first ever football edition of YouTube Take for the year. I am Big Rat 310 here with my guest at the moment.
Nightmare Baller One.
We are going to, our good friend Nightmare 88 Phil is not with us at the moment. So, me and Nightmare Baller 1 are going to try to cover the college football world. Although,
But
let's,
he'll probably be here for the other half,
yes,
and there's a good chance I won't. So we at least wanted to do this.
yes. And trust me, don't worry. All of you guys that love the chemistry that us three have together, which I will admit is quite great, we will be back soon enough. So don't worry. Um, so I just wanted to, we're going to start with the college
Hey,
football.
hey, hey, kid! Just in case I'm not here, like after we're done with all this, you want me to talk about the Eagles real quick or something?
Yeah. We could. I'll throw in, I can always, I always love the opportunity to talk about the Dolphins. So we can always just throw some stuff in there.
Got
But yeah, so we're going to get started with all the favorites, all the prospects in college football. First off, we're going to go conference by conference, talk, who's strong, who's weak this year, who's overrated, who's underrated. And we'll start with obviously the greatest conference in the history of college football, the SEC. Markeem, I guess we'll just start off with Alabama. How are they doing this year?
That's the best team in the country. Like they just retool every year. They lost everyone, and still had like the top recruiting class. Well, was second best recruiting class in
Second,
the nation.
second, I believe.
T.J. Yeldon, who wasn't even the starter last year. A lot of people really close to like Bama football. Like um, some people, like some of Bear Bryant's kin, like some of his nephews and nieces, they said that he's the best running back to ever play at Alabama, and
That's
that's
says
that's
something.
big. That's big words. So you got Sean Alexander, Mark Ingram,
Trent
Trent Richardson,
Richardson.
Eddie Lacy last year. They're saying he is the best of all of them ever. So it's crazy. And then Saban's a defensive coach. Every year they do historic stuff on defense. Like before, all the way until the LSU game last year, they had this crazy streak where like they didn't give up like an offensive touchdown in the first half of like every game up to that point. Something crazy
Yeah,
like that.
something like that, yeah.
And then they had before the A&M game, that was the first game they given up 20 points in like what was it, like 17 games or something
Yep.
crazy like that.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. So they are the best team in the country. They got a senior quarterback who's pretty much done everything you can do in college football. I mean, I got my questions about McCarron, but he still didn't seen it all. Ain't nothing that's gonna be in front of him that he hadn't seen before. They are the best team. I mean, barring something crazy, they should probably run the table. To be honest with you, their schedule is weak. They should probably the only challenge they have, in my opinion, is A&M at College Station, and we don't even know if Johnny Football is gonna be playing. The
Yeah.
way shit looks. So, and even if he doesn't, that's still gonna be a tough game. So, I mean, but aside from that, I feel like all their other games they should be the prohibited favorites in. They got like a cakewalk to the national championship game.
If they lose that A&M game though, because this is college football after all, don't wouldn't that like
That drastically changes everything. But I really doubt it. Like I'm gonna go ahead and pick that. I really doubt it. I really doubt it.
really even
Seriously.
in Texas A&M?
Even at College Station, like dog, Nick Saban after the national championship game, he kills me. Like, oh, we're looking forward to who they playing, Rice and not Rice. It was who is it? Sam Houston State and someone else. It's like that's what we're looking forward to before we get to that game. Yeah, right, motherfucker. You can throw your second stringers out there and they can beat those other two teams until week 3. Week 3 is when the season starts for them. Trust me. Like Virginia Tech. Like we'll get to that. We'll get to
We'll
that.
get to that. We'll get to that. But okay, fine. So Bama,
They should.
basically, we'll get to our. Let's not ruin our title predictions.
Well, that's a shoe in. That's
Yeah.
one.
Okay. So we could say that. Very good chance Bama goes to their fourth championship game in 5 years,
I
and
mean,
that would.
barring something crazy like McCarron getting hurt or T.J. Yeldon going down, I can't see them not making the national. It'd just be weird.
I'm still not a big fan of AJ McCarron's NFL prospects, though.
Oh, he's terrible. He's gonna be terrible at the next level. But he's a good college quarterback.
Fair enough.
He's Greg McElroy, except maybe even worse, probably.
Wow. So who is the second big dog in this conference? Let's put Bama aside. Is it Texas A&M?
See, now you got me a little. Yeah, I don't know. Like I would say, South Carolina's up there. I know Phil's gonna like that. Um, you know, Georgia even. Um, I would say Florida, but they can't. Like they. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the SEC. This conference is so great because the defenses are like NFL defense. But the thing that people tend to overlook is that aside from a few teams, the offenses in this conference are average at best for the most part. Like Alabama was efficient last year. Georgia was efficient last year, and Tennessee was efficient, but they couldn't stop nobody. And who else? Who else I'm thinking
Texas
about?
A&M.
Yeah, A&M. And that's pretty much it. Like if you look around, like South Carolina was inconsistent last year.
LSU. LSU.
LSU. I mean, Zach Mettenberger was awful for most of the season.
Arkansas.
Arkansas, well, Dave was going through a bunch of shit. So, but yeah, like I'm just saying, like a lot of people overlook that. So I mean, when you say second team in the SEC, if you look at A&M, like yeah, Johnny Football's back. The defense should be solid. They got a great secondary. Yeah, I mean, I forget that wide receiver. He's like an outside shot for the Heisman. It depends on what.
Oh yeah, I saw his name in an NFL draft list actually.
I forget his name.
Here, I'll continue. I'll get that name.
But yeah, him, and and then they got they go like 3 deep at running back. Here's the thing though, Luke Jokel didn't get nearly enough credit as he should have last year because Manziel hardly got sacked, and he could never see where Manziel he had a funny quote at the College Football Awards when he won Best Offensive Lineman, well deserved. He was like, it was like, so how is it like blocking for Johnny Football? He was like, well, it's hard because I don't know where he is most of the time. So
Mike Evans.
Yeah, that sounds right. We'll go with that.
Right.
Yeah, Joker was like, yeah, it's hard blocking for him sometimes. I have no idea where he is. And he was such a stud last year, and they lost him. Now I know Matthews, Eric Matthews, I think that's his name. He's his replacement, and I just don't know, man. Like I still think that offensive line is really good. But I think like a lot of the crazy shit that Johnny Football was able to get away with, he won't get away with this year. Like he'll get sacked a lot more than he did last year. I can guarantee you that. So I mean I don't know. Like that's the only question mark I say with this team. And then their run defense. But like, I still think that if I had to choose one, I would say them just because they can score. South Carolina has the best player in the country, period.
Yes.
But I just don't. I don't trust them to score enough. I was telling Phil, on Twitter, I was like, they'll hold people to like 10 to 17 points a game, but how they gonna score? Like Jadeveon, like if y'all thought Jadeveon Clowney was a stud, let me share a quick story about Jadeveon Clowney. Here's the thing about this dude. He is an Iron Man. Let me tell you why. He doesn't live like I'm from Columbia. Well, I live in Columbia. I'm not from here. I was born in Newport News, Virginia. But I live in Columbia. If you don't know, the Gamecocks, William Bright Stadium, and a lot of their training facilities are here in the city. Now, I forget where Jadeveon Clowney, I think he's from Gilbert, I believe. I think so, but he's been training a lot here. And the funny thing about him is that all throughout the summer, I've seen him randomly jogging in different places around the city.
Wow.
It was funny. I was in Harbison on my way to the mall, and Jadeveon Clowney's jogging up the road, like down Harbison Boulevard, and you can tell he's been. It's like 90 degrees here. It's the South, and it's muggy and humid, and he's just jogging. He got his his iPod in, just jogging. And then I see him downtown, just jogging. I see him like shadow boxing and stuff. I'm like, yo, this dude has been training all summer. I think what you saw from him is merely the beginning because this is another year. He's more experienced, and plus he's gonna be in the best shape he's ever been in. Like
Yep.
it's almost scary how good this dude will be. Like I like Mark Rick made a comment that everyone's been talking about. Like he said, Jadeveon Clowney might be the best player at any level in all of football. I don't know if you can say that because he hasn't played, at the pro level. But he's one dude that I think can come in and immediately have like a Alden Smith, J.J. Watt effect on the game. Like
Yeah.
as soon as he comes in, like he's in better shape now. Like when Watt came out, my biggest thing I was like, yo, this dude's athletic, he's big, he's strong, but he gets tired quickly. And I stand by that. In college, that dude would like you would see him for a half, and then another half he'll disappear, whether it's the first or the second. You know what I mean? It would happen. Like he'd be dynamite for a half and then just be gone. And I was like, well, he can't do that in the NFL. Plus, these guys are big, and obviously I was wrong. But he was he was beyond anything I could ever imagine. But Clowney is in the best shape on the field, and he has all the skills that Watt has, minus jumping up and swatting passes, and he can leap too. So you're probably gonna see a lot of that this year too. That dude is on. I can talk about this dude, but I won't do that. But so I mean, to me, it's between those two for second best in the SEC, South Carolina or A&M. I feel like if South Carolina can get to that SEC title game undefeated, they are the best team out of the East against Alabama. Like they match up well with Alabama.
Yeah, I was about to say. Who's their offensive like best player, quote unquote, that would have to, really do something special for this team that's apparently inconsistent?
South Carolina?
Yeah.
Phil's probably a better person to ask, but they're relatively deep at receiver. It's just I don't trust Connor Shaw. That's just being real. And Ellington, Bruce Ellington. He's a good tight end, but like I just don't trust Connor Shaw.
Okay.
The offensive line is solid too, but he's like so average. And then when they're playing from behind, you pretty much have them beaten. Like to be honest with you, because he's gonna have to throw. And him just like him throwing without gimmicks behind it. Like
Yeah.
I got a good question on AskFM the other day where this guy asked me. He was like, Spurrier's known for offense. What's the deal at South Carolina? Well, you got to remember when he was at Florida. I mean, these guys might not have turned out to be the best NFL players. When he was at Florida, he had guys like Danny Warfel, who was throwing for like 3,000 yards. Had one of the most. He had up to like the last few games of his Heisman year, he was having the most efficient season any quarterback's ever had, like in college football history. Like he had a game. I think his record still stands. No, my bad. Drew Brees actually broke it. He had like this crazy streak where he had like 30 some consecutive completions, and like I remember Drew Brees had 40 in 1999, I believe.
Wow.
40, something like that. I know the record is 40. I think Drew Brees still has it. But yeah, he was on this crazy run. Spurrier had guys like that. He had guys like Rex Grossman. Another guy turned out to be,
Yeah.
But he has no one like that in South Carolina. Like Connor Shaw will never start an NFL game in his life. He will never make an NFL squad at quarterback in his life. And until he gets a good college quarterback, you're gonna see this. His strength has never been running the ball. Like they've always been like running back by committee. So like their whole thing was throw the ball 40 times a game, and occasionally throw in like well timed run. It was kind of like the Colts were back when they had Peyton Manning. It was kind of like that. So, but with all these gimmicks and shit that just don't work in the NFL, which is why Spurrier didn't last long there. But until he gets a quarterback, it's just not gonna happen like that. So yeah, like I said, South Carolina or A&M is the second best team.
Okay, now and it brings me to the next like big relevant squad in the SEC, Georgia. Very close to going to the national championship that game. Georgia was very close to winning the national title last year, if you really think about it.
Yep.
So what's wrong with them? I mean, Aaron Murray's back. Todd Gurley's back. I mean, they lost Jarvis Jones, but how's their future looking?
Is Mark Richt still the coach there?
Yep.
They're not winning a damn thing.
Damn.
That's just how it is. He in tight games, in big situations, he is the worst in game coach maybe in sports. Maybe Scott Brooks is the only guy that rivals him in that regard. You know what I mean? That's about it.
Wow. And for those who do not know, because maybe you haven't said this before, maybe there might be new listeners or something. You've always felt this way about Mark Rick. Mark Rick.
I mean, look. He's an amazing recruiter. He's great from game to game. Like if you saw him after they got killed by South Carolina, absolutely wrecked. Aaron Murray's confidence was just like, he probably knows what cologne Jadeveon Clowney was wearing that game. You know what I mean? That's how bad it was. But after that game, if you saw the next game, they ran the ball 12 straight times out of the gate, and then they set him up play action passes, and then it was like open looks all down the field because he knew his confidence was gone. Because dude is a good coach, but in tight games, he's not the guy you want calling the signals. That's just how it is.
Okay.
And they're not gonna blow out everyone. It's the SEC we're talking about.
But do you think they can win 10, 11 games?
They always do. It's probably gonna happen again.
Yeah. But like them or South Carolina, you trust South Carolina more because of Spurrier.
Yeah, and trust is a strong word. I'd say that I trust them not to fuck up more than I trust. Yeah, because Spurrier is a better in-game coach than Mark Richt. It's as simple as that.
Fair enough.
And the thing is, I'm not even that high on Aaron Murray because I think sometimes he looks like NFL talent, playing at the college level, and at other times he looks like high school talent playing at the college level. Who knows? Like at least with Connor Shaw, you're gonna get somebody that's inept, and even when he's not inept, he's not gonna turn the ball over that often. Yeah, you get a solid performance from him. He's Matt Schaub without an arm, so you know what you're gonna get. So I would rather have a guy like that than some guy that you may rely too much on and then fuck up.
Fair enough. How's Todd Gurley's Heisman prospects looking?
Ask me about that when we get to that section.
All right, we'll do. Okay, then the only other two major names here. I mean, I guess if you want to talk about, well, actually, I'll throw you two names, but very quickly, Florida and LSU. Are they they're not really stalled as favorites in the conference? Are they just in a 7, 8, 9 win ball club this year? Each of them.
Florida can't score, man. It's sad because that defense is gonna be absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean, Muschamp is a defensive genius, and they always put quality defensive players out on the field, and they just can't score. Honestly, do you trust Jeff Driscoll? Honestly,
no, not at all.
To do anything but option keeps. I want to see them win because they're that talented. I feel like just straight up defensively, they might be the best team in that conference. They might have been last year, just they couldn't score. I don't know. I just don't know. With them, that it's if he gets better, they could win this conference. But I don't see that happening.
LSU.
I think they're worse than last year.
Wow.
They lost a lot of guys in the draft. How many real big recruits did they get? I mean, I didn't hear any names, to be honest with you. They did well, LSU, but and Zach Mettenberger, he's starting again, so yeah. Why should I be out? If I was an LSU fan, I'd be depressed.
Wow, damn.
Because they're going to be a good team because it's LSU, but I don't see them really doing anything on a national stage. I mean, they're not better than Bama. Bama's going to kill them this year because they play them in Bama this year.
Yeah.
If Bama's going to kill them. I don't even think that's going to be close. And, they got to play A&M, or at least they get them at home, so anything can happen when you're on the road on a Saturday. I mean, that just is what it is. But I don't see them doing much.
And finally, two teams that are kind of sort of relevant, but no, I really have no idea how their seasons will go. Auburn, Arkansas.
Auburn can't be worse than they were last year.
Yeah.
Like I mean, they can't be. Weren't they the team that got who's their coach now? Who they get?
Hold on, that's my
I know
job.
I know Arkansas. Well, let me get to Arkansas. Arkansas, I think, will be 7 to 8 wins this year
Wow.
because they had a lot of talent last year, but they didn't have that great of a coach. And I thought they had a lot of talent that just didn't fit together also. But I think this year with one of the best coaches in all of college football, from an X's and O's standpoint, Brett Bielema will have those guys coming into every game differently and ready to play. Like I really think they'll be the most improved team in college football this year.
Auburn's coach is Gus Malzahn.
Who?
Gus Malzahn.
Who'd he coach before? I don't even.
Arkansas State. He coached last year.
Yeah, so they're gonna suck again. All right, let's move on.
All right then. I think that about does it for the Southeastern Conference.
Oh! I was supposed to say every team in this conference can beat every other team in any other conference because of the SEC.
Of course.
And that's how it is because no one else can even play with them because fuck up, out of here with that shit.
That shit is quite annoying. But hey, those people will be who they are. And if Bama, look, Florida, Georgia, Clemson, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and Texas A&M could all only win 7-8 games this year. But as long as Bama wins the title again, people will still keep saying that.
That's true. That is true.
Like, look at last year. Like, we were the ones, like, saying, like, Notre Dame, like, all y'all that say Notre Dame haven't played anybody, you haven't been watching college football. If you think,
I still stand by that.
Yeah.
It's just that was just horrific,
And like if you think the game's gonna be a blowout, you don't know college football, and then we're the ones that kind of had to suck it, even though we were right. It's a shame.
Oh boy.
But next we move to the Atlantic Coast Conference with my alma mater. Well, not my alma mater, but with my home, the University of Miami, actually getting a lot of respect this year in the preseason polls. For those who do not know, I live in a city called Coral Gables, Florida. Coral Gables, Florida is basically a district within Miami. It's not its own city. Like, it's within Miami-Dade County. And the University of Miami is in this same district, Coral Gables, Florida. I live legitimately less than 2 minutes away from the university. I play basketball.
You can walk there.
What?
You can walk there.
Yeah, I have walked there. I can play basketball.
Okay.
I can and have played basketball at their gyms. I can and have thrown the football around in the recreational field. Obviously, I have a lot of friends that go there. This place is legitimately very close to my home. But let me hear your opinion on the Miami Hurricanes and their season this season, in your opinion.
All right, so what I did yesterday, I looked at their schedule. And, actually, a few months ago, actually. And I looked at it again yesterday. And I'm looking at it right now. We're going to go through every game on their schedule.
Yes.
Right now. Like, I'm going to do this right now. Just for you.
Yee.
Okay. Florida Atlantic is a win. I'm not even going to go into that.
Yeah.
Versus Florida is a very winnable game. Because whenever Florida State, Miami, when they're all good, not when they're all like kind of... I think all three of them are good this year. But when they're all good... kind of throw everything out the window.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When they play each other. This is a very winnable game. I'm not saying they're going to win, but it's a winnable game. Okay, Savannah State, if they play like they give a fuck, that should be a win. South Florida's another team that's like, some weeks, they give teams hell. Other weeks, they just lay down and die. They've been like that for like years. But they should win this game if they play for real. So that's one. It's the possibility of 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-0. There'll be 4-0 to start the season. And then you're Georgia Tech. Now, here's the thing. Here's me being honest. If y'all had any weakness last year, it was against the run.
Yes, obviously. Yes.
Georgia Tech is consistently, because of what the fuck is his name? Johnson. What's it? God damn it. The coach. Option, triple option. Reggie
Oh,
like
I'm looking it up, but continue.
yeah, but because of him, they consistently that's what they do. That's their MO. Hell, when Calvin Johnson was there, they were running the ball like 30 times a game. So like, I mean, this bothers me a little bit, but it's also winnable. It's winnable. I mean, I'm not gonna say they're
Paul
going
Johnson. Paul
to.
Johnson.
Paul Johnson. There you go, Paul Johnson. Um,
Hey, we beat him last year in Georgia Tech when our run defense was probably worse.
and that was one of the best games of the college football season.
That game was awesome.
But yeah, this is winnable. They're y'all obviously better than them this year. But as I said, Georgia Tech, last year they played everyone in the conference close. This is they lost a lot of games.
Yep.
So
they ended up, and because us and UNC had sanctions, they ended up going to the ACC title game, and they got the luxury of beating USC in the bowl game.
In the Sun Bowl, and we gonna get to that. I can't wait to get to them.
Oh,
but yeah, so that's winnable. So that's the possibility of being 5-0. North Carolina, y'all should slaughter because North Carolina is not as good as they were last year, and y'all are better. See, here's the thing about Miami, and I didn't even explain. This is virtually the same team that's been together for the past 3 years.
Yep.
They're all juniors and seniors now. Usually, this is the year where a young team turns the corner because it's not like college basketball where you have a standout and like 1 year in they can just leave because the NFL has a 3-year age limit. Teams they live together, they die together, and they grow together. And this team has been through ups and downs. Yeah, I mean since they've all been together.
Yep.
So this is the season. Like this season could be the turning point. I'm not done. I'm just kind of setting the stage from where I'm going right now. Okay.
All right.
So North Carolina, they'll probably win that game. So that's what possibility of being 6-0, right?
Yep.
At the very worst, I'd say 5-1. But
okay.
we're gonna say 6-0. All right. They should beat Wake Forest. Okay. Then you got at Florida State, which is that's never easy. Like I said, throw all these out whenever they play each other. Just throw it out. But Florida State is noticeably worse this year though, because they still don't know who their quarterback's gonna be. So
yeah.
Like they'll know week 1 pretty much. so I mean, I if I had to pick today without seeing what was going on, I would pick Miami.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech, I don't even want to talk about that. Y'all would probably win that game. Duke, I love Duke. I love watching them, but Miami's better. Virginia's a winnable game. Pittsburgh is a winnable game. On the grand scheme of things, they could go undefeated during the regular season.
Damn.
Like seriously, look at this schedule. Can you tell me there's one game on the schedule that they cannot win?
Nope, not at all.
Like Virginia Tech, I would say the same thing about us for 2 reasons. Logan Thomas, and we got the Alabama game week 1. You know what I mean? But aside from that, our schedule is similar. But this one is like, even the non-conference games, the non-conference game is Florida. Yeah, like the non-conference Power 6 game, Florida, which is a rivalry game. This is the year. If they do anything with this core they have, the coaching staff, the players, everything. Stephen Morris, you know what I mean? This is his year. Like this will be if anything is going to happen, this is the year it will happen.
Yeah.
Like this.
Hence my extreme excitement.
Like they could look at the schedule. Like it's really scary when you think about it. They could honestly be undefeated coming into the conference championship game, and the conference championship game could be winnable. Like they could probably end up against Florida State.
Yeah.
I'm
very thankful we don't have to see Taj Boyd in the regular season.
Hey, see, yeah, they don't even play Clemson. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm telling you, very, very favorable. Very favorable. I'm not saying this will happen. I'm saying if it happens, you heard it on this show first.
Yep.
Like, do not be shocked.
And And we also have fellow Heisman favorite who's actually been getting a lot of hype recently. I think I saw a report recently that in the Vegas odds, he's the 6th most likely person to win the Heisman in Duke Johnson.
I'm gonna tell you that's not gonna happen.
I don't think it will, but he's special.
I honestly, I think Stephen Morris will probably be if y'all have a Heisman candidate.
Fair enough.
You
And
know,
then,
people love those mobile quarterbacks, man.
but Duke Johnson is special.
Yeah, but T.J. Yeldon gonna put up better numbers than him against tougher competition. Just being honest.
Can you at least
I'm
say
not. I'm
that?
not. And we're not even gonna get into the whole who's better argument. I'm just telling you that's probably what's gonna happen.
I think Duke Johnson could be a top 3 running back in all of college football this year.
Oh yeah.
All right, just saying.
I mean, who else? Who else we even talk about?
I wouldn't know. Fair enough. Um, and just so you know, our overall points against, the amount of points we allowed last season was 85th in the country, which is
That's terrible.
awful. I think at one point last season, I think it was after the Florida State lost, we legitimately in points against had the 118th ranked in the country. Duke
That's
football.
crazy.
Duke football scored 45 points on us. We
Hey,
sc-
hey, hey, hey! Don't laugh, but Duke had a few games where they were putting up, crazy points against people.
and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of their boy who's now with the Falcons. What's his fucking name? Sean Renfree. But
Yeah, man. He could be Tom Brady.
yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
but he, like, the fact that, look, we allowed Virginia. We put up 40 points against Virginia and lost, which is special. But yes, I I have big hopes for this year. For both my teams, the Canes and the Dolphins. Not to bring the NFL into this, but it really does seem like this year for both programs is the year that things finally start to change.
Man,
Now,
as long as I hate to jump to the NFL real quick, but as long as Tom Brady's throwing passes in New England, y'all gonna have to kill him. Something's gonna
I
have to
mean, I'm
happen.
not saying we're going to win the division, but I don't see why we can't take a wild card spot with the Steelers and Ravens like being not as good as they were last year.
I'll let you and Phil talk about that, but I'm just saying y'all gonna have to shoot that dude number 12.
Hey, we don't have to. I'm not saying we're gonna like win the AFC East. I'm saying we can win 9 games and go to the playoffs, and that's really all us Dolphin fans can hope for. All us Canes fan can hope for is to go to a title game, go to the ACC title game. Now, hopefully, those sanctions don't come in and fuck us over even more. Although I've heard they won't, but you never know. No,
Yeah,
they
I thought they were gonna that's like not gonna come into play until like March Madness or something. I was
yeah,
reading.
because
So don't worry about it.
they if they were to come in at the start of the season or September 8th after the Florida game, which we win, and say that we won't be fighting for a bowl game this year, I think that will really kill the team. Like motivation wise, that one's gonna be tough.
I tell you what though, if Florida like runs up the score on y'all, I take back everything I said.
Yeah.
Like I mean, not even that. Like if Florida scores more than 30 against you guys, oh god.
Well, it's funny actually because I visited my high school a few weeks ago with one of my best friends who's a Gator fan, and we were talking to our old chemistry teacher, and he's noted for being very having close ties with Florida. Like he knows like people within the organization, like he knows the coaches and all that. And we're talking to him, and I told him like jokingly like, "Hey, are you excited to get beat out on September 7th?" And he's like, "How could you say something so ridiculous?" And I was like, yeah. Like, and the typical arguments, like, I was like, "You guys can't score," and they were like, "Yeah," and he was just like, "Yeah, but you guys can't defend. You guys have a horrible run defense, and Driscoll doesn't have to do anything. He just has to hand the ball off, and maybe we can work it out." And in that hot sun, what if the defense collapses like they did against NC State? Even though you guys still won, but that'd be difficult against us. But then he did say, "I'll give you guys this though. If you score more than 21 points, you will win because we are incapable of scoring more than 20 points."
That's funny. That's funny.
All we need is Duke to run back 3 touchdowns on special teams, and we're done. Game over. But I'll remember that quote. He said, "If you guys score more than 21 points, you will win because we cannot score more than 21 points." So there's that. But yeah, like I'm very excited. But knowing my luck and knowing the lovely 2000s of Miami football, aka horrible sadness in both conferences. Knowing my luck, I'm just gonna end up disappointed. But Hey, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. This is definitely the season. Steven's looking good. Duke's looking good. Got a lot of great recruits here. Did you know that we have the number three recruiting class in the country?
I knew it was something like that because I was like, oh, look at Miami. It's like early 2000s all over
Yeah,
again. Look at that.
the number three recruiting class in the country. So
People, because that's because things look like they're getting back to normal there, man. Like
yeah,
Florida State always does work. So does Florida. Now people like I want to play football in Florida again. So
yeah.
there you go. There you go.
So I'm hoping. I'm hoping. One is Tennessee, two is Alabama, three is Miami, four is Florida State, five is Kentucky. That's the recruiting rankings as of right now, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Oh, but that's for 2014. Oh, I didn't see that. Well, we're four
Whoa, hold on. Talking about Tennessee, dog.
for 2014.
Really?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I was surprised by that too.
All right.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that too. But yeah, that's 2014, not 2013. Yeah, they got 23 total commits and four stars. I mean, no, 12 4 stars, one 5 star. Yeah, something.
that,
So
that
yeah,
is that is something. That is something.
so I'm just hoping for the best. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it because I just really don't want to end up disappointed. Because goddamn, man, it's been a lot.
Either way, you'll find out if this is the direction y'all need to go. Or,
Yeah.
you know, if not, this is the season. Like everything is set.
Yep.
Like if I had to make a all right, hold on. ESPN started going on. But if I had to make a pick about who would win the conference, I'd probably pick y'all. If you're gonna twist my arm, I'd probably pick you guys at this point.
Hmm.
All those home games, man. God, I'm telling you.
I'm hoping. Like I said, I'm just. Whew, not much more I could do about it. I just gotta, pray that things go well. But let's move on to the next. We kind of mentioned them already, but last year's winners of the ACC, Florida State University. How they looking this year?
No Tank Carradine, no EJ Manuel. I guess that's kind of a loss. No,
Dion Warner.
let, let me stop. Let me not say that. Let me not because he yeah, he was a solid college quarterback. He just turned the ball over too much. But
Warner.
yeah, no Warner, no offensive line's decimated too, right? Then they
Yeah.
lose a guy and a couple guys to the draft, and somebody got hurt too, or something
No,
like that.
no. They also lost Xavier Rhodes, cornerback.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is right. So yeah, I mean they're not as good. I still think they're very good. I still think they can win the conference, but they're not like last year. And I feel bad for Mark Stoops because there's a rumor flying around that when he was there, now he left. So when he was when he was there, the rumor was Jimbo Fisher didn't let him do a damn thing. So
Really?
yeah, that was like the rumor. So like kids, you ever saw like in those games where let's say they give up a touchdown quick, it kind of like rained and poured.
Yeah.
Like they kept giving up points. Like I know you like they were one of the top defenses in the country, but the games like they gave up a lot. They gave up points and they gave up a lot of points. Minus like the NC State game. Like
Yeah.
they had games where they gave up like 35. That's because he really didn't get to do what he wanted. Because Jimbo Fisher is such a genius, right?
Yeah,
So yeah,
man.
yeah.
They allowed
You have
Florida. Florida had over 30 points last year against them.
exactly. You always have one of the best recruiting classes in the country. Yet you haven't even seen a BCS title game like since Bowden. Yeah,
Yeah.
like what like why should we invest in this guy? Like I don't understand. Like you can't fire him because they do win every year. And most of the time they win this conference. But it's like how long can you stand being mediocre? I mean mediocre. Like well mediocre on on a national scale. Like you dominate this conference, but like come on. It's not like Frank Beamer where we'll get to them. We'll get to them. We'll get to them.
I was at the FSU NIU game last year in the Orange Bowl, and basically seeing as how at the start of the fourth quarter, when it was 17-10, a one possession game against NIU, and then in the fourth quarter they just ran away with it. And they were committing so many dumb mistakes, so many stupid play calls in that game.
And no disrespect to NIU, but
Yes.
this is a team that struggled against a team that lost to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky won 2 games last year, dog.
Yep.
like they struggled against Kent State, who lost to Kentucky, that won 2 games last year. Kentucky won 2 games. I'm just saying. NIU, it was nice that they were in that game, but come on.
Yeah, no, and I mean it's just typical Florida State. I mean it was like that against the Hurricanes last year too. They play down to their opponent, and that's how they lose games they shouldn't lose, like the like the NC State game last year. It's just
say what you will about Bowden, but every year he was there, you never saw that shit. That never happened. Either they just weren't good enough, or if they were better than you, they were going to kill you. Simple as that. He do whatever it took to kill you, whether he had to throw it 50 million times back when they had Chris Winkie, or whether he run it 50 million times back when they had Warwick Dunn. That's what he did. He kill you. Whatever it took, he just do it.
Hell, your boys almost beat them.
Yeah, I know.
It's just that's just how they are. That's how they play. Every game, they should walk away with it, but they don't. And that's
I still say Bobby Bowden's son, Tommy, who was he used to be I don't know if he doesn't work for ABC anymore. Who does he work for now? I can't remember.
Bowden?
Yeah.
Hold on. I have that name right here. Tommy Bowden works for Clemson? No.
Well, he was the coach there.
He was the coach there. Now I don't think he's doing anything. At least nothing his Wikipedia page says.
I don't give a fuck. He should have been the dude coaching that team.
Yeah.
Right now. I know Jimbo Fisher was in the system for years and years. I know that. But Tommy knew what his dad did. And the only problem with his dad is that his dad was just old and senile. That was the only problem. He just sometimes your time is up. I mean, Pat Summitt, one of the greatest coaches of all time. She didn't leave because she couldn't coach anymore. She left because she, was, senile.
Yep.
That's another sport I can talk all day, but I won't do that because this ain't about women's college basketball. But they frustrate me because growing up, Florida State was the team. In the '90s, when I was growing up, this was the Bama. What Bama is today, that was Florida State in the '90s. And it bothers me. It makes me kind of sad because to me, college football is better when they're good. Notre Dame is good. Bama is good, and UCLA and USC are good all at the same time. It's just better. More people care.
Yeah, I completely understand, but looks like this year is going to go somewhere else.
They'll be a good team. They'll win, 8 to 10 games, but then, they might even win the conference, but, it's it just, okay, whoop-de-doo. They did what they do every year,
That's why
There's no improvement.
That's why the University of Miami is coming in to save the day.
At least I can guarantee you, Miami will be better than they were last year, and at least that's something. Being better, just something different.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember last year, Kirk Herbstreit, who whatever you want to say about him, I think he's the best college football analyst on television. That's just me, because the only reason I say that is because I remember. That year, everyone called him crazy when he said Auburn is the best team in the SEC West. And I remember on the air, College Game Day, Week 1, Lee Corso laughed at him. That year, Cam Newton led them to the national championship. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I remember that like it was yesterday. He was like, it's the best team in the West. You guys are all seed. And I remember they had this epic music for the national when he came out there. He was like, "Well, didn't think I'd be sitting here looking at this mascot." that shit was the best. But he said last year Florida State will win the national championship, and I damn near lost my shit. I walked down the street laughing. I went to go check the mail, and I had my headphones in, and I was listening to some podcast, and he said that, and I just kept walking, just laughing. I went all the way to the store. All the little bread came back, still was laughing. I couldn't believe he said that. Florida State. I mean, I got it. Technically, I got what he was saying. No, I got it. Because when Phil was like, "That's impossible," I was like, "It's not impossible. It's Florida State. Bad shit always happen to them. It's just that made me laugh a lot."
Yeah, I can definitely understand. But hey, I mean, currently I've ate a lot of crow as a UM fan the past 4 years. I've had to hear the Gator and Seminoles talk a lot, but I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. And then when the victories come in, I won't let people at Florida State figure. I'm gonna go to both those games, so you know. I will be at the
The
UM-UF game.
Florida the Florida game should be a priority though. You need to go to that
I
one.
will, I will, I will. I will be at that game. It's before I go to school, and I am flying down November 1st and driving with my family to Tallahassee to go to the Florida State game. So a lot of adventure awaits for possibly the best year for UM since the national title year.
Or the year after. No,
No,
or
no,
two
no,
years
that
after.
didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Okay.
All right. Next big team that's been getting a lot of pub. Most people actually have this team winning the conference. They did a preseason poll with a lot of the beat writers for the ACC teams.
Here we
UM was
go.
second in winning the conference.
Here we go.
But
Go ahead.
the first was the Clemson Tigers. How are they going to do?
Look, man. Miami didn't have any defense last year. Clemson also didn't have any defense last year. Their thing was is that they outscored you,
Yep.
and they kept pouring it on. They kept scoring all this good stuff. This team has a weak schedule too, but
Well, not the first
man,
week. Not the first week.
well, yeah, not the first week. That game's gonna be nuts, like I said. But man, I can't get excited about them, man. They're like, it's like at that year when Geno Smith put up 70 on them, it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. I since then, like as long as Taj Boyd is the quarterback, I can't see them doing anything that spectacular. On paper, are they the best team? Yeah, probably, but they play y'all. Let's say hypothetically they do win the Atlantic, and then they'll play y'all in the Coastal, and I would go with y'all, like, because I don't trust them in big games. I know Miami has never been in a big game, at least not this team. But even with all that being said, I would still pick y'all. I would still pick y'all.
Yeah.
Like Taj Boy, I don't get him. Like I don't get him. I don't. Like people was talking about his NFL future. I'm like any team with him at quarterback, there's not much future that's ahead. To be honest with you.
Wow. It's because you don't trust them
Like
in big games?
yeah, not at all. Not at all. Like there are some times where for real he looks like a pudgy RG3, dead ass. Like sometimes he looks really really good. Then other times he looks like Terrell Pryor. You know,
Wow.
you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. I just don't know. Like that game. Like I always just go back to that game. Like coming into that game, they were averaging 40 points a game, and people were like, "This is gonna be a shootout, one of the best shootouts we've ever seen." And yeah, they got shot out the building. Yeah, that's what happened. How can you not score in West Virginia? That defense is always bad. That defense has been bad since I was a kid. How can you not score on them? I don't understand that.
What was the
I
final
don't.
score of that game?
It was 70 to 20 something, 70 something to 20 something, or was it 30? I don't know, man.
Damn.
It was bad.
Yeah. That doesn't
And
catch.
I know that was 2 years ago, but fuck that, man. That was Taj Boyd was the quarterback, so shit. I'm sorry.
Well, they've been getting a lot of hype. I'm just looking at their schedule right here. I mean, they go at NC State. I mean, I don't know if that's better or not.
No, they'll win that game. They're better. They'll win that game.
At NC State, they got to face Georgia Tech as well. They got to face FSU as well. Their road games seem pretty easy, but well, not at South Carolina.
They're going to lose that game for the 5th straight year. They're going to lose to South Carolina. Last year I picked them like an idiot, and I ain't doing that shit again.
Jadeveon Clowney's just gonna put Boyd on the ground. It seems.
That's what he did last year. He had 4 sacks that game.
Damn, Dude's a
And,
beast.
and not only that, I think he hit Boyd like double digit times. I think it was like 11 times or some shit like that.
But I thought the best game he ever played was the Michigan game.
Shut the fuck up.
Didn't you say that was the worst game he played all season?
Yeah, probably. He didn't do anything that game, but that hit.
but all of America saw that.
He also was playing hurt that game. Like he had a bruised rib. People don't even know that. Whatever.
All right, well, let's move on to the rest of the conference. Another team that I don't want to say they're
Please,
getting
please don't do it. Don't do it.
what?
Don't do it.
What?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going.
Another team with another quarterback prospect
Oh shit.
who got a lot of hype going into last season. Markeem's boys with Markeem's favorite Virginia Tech's favorite son, Logan Thomas, the Virginia Tech Aggies. How are they looking this year?
Hokies, kid.
Hokies, sorry. How are they looking?
I like the team, to be honest with you. I really do. I think that defensively we should be better because we're older. I think that our running attack is always there. Logan Thomas is athletic to his credit, but he can't pass. Like he cannot get the ball from point A to point B. Like as simple as that. He cannot do it. Like either he's moving too much, he's incredibly inaccurate, he's turning the ball over, he's constantly doing dumb shit. I know he has an NFL body. The guy's huge. He looks like a black Andrew Luck in terms of just size. I get all that. His arm is huge too. The boy got power. He just ain't accurate, and he's dumb, and he doesn't know when to run, and he doesn't know when to pass, and he doesn't understand how to play quarterback. He throws into double coverage, triple coverage. As long as he is the quarterback, we won't do much. Like I would rather have a guy I would rather have a Connor Shaw type dude where he's not gonna fuck up, but he ain't gonna do too much crazy. There have been games that we lost because of Logan Thomas. I can't take this dude no more. The year after this year will be the best year in Virginia Tech history because we'll be through with this fool. Like we're in a position to where we can't start anyone else because I'll be honest. Like you have an NFL prospect like him. You gotta play him. You just have to. I get it. I get all that. But if this is his mind state when he plays in the NFL, you'll hear about him for like a day. like they'll put him in the preseason one time and you'll never see Logan Thomas again.
Yeah.
Like real shit. He is just terrible. Just terrible. I do like this team. I think on paper this is a really good team. That's what bothers
me. I know it's tough. It's tough to just completely rip on them. But hey, man, you got week 1 against Alabama. Could be.
That's gonna be a slaughter. We're a good team, but we ain't that good.
But think about it. That could be. I know you think it's gonna be a slaughter. I'm not trying to get your hopes up or anything. But
yeah. I didn't say. I'll be at that game, and I have good seats too. I have good seats. They're pretty good
for the slaughter.
For the slaughter. I'll be right there. Me and my cousin, who's actually coming down from Virginia, picking me up, and we're going to Atlanta to the Georgia Dome to watch these boys die.
This could be the greatest victory in your life if it does happen.
I don't know. Probably the game that sealed the Big East for us and sent us to the national title game. That's probably the biggest game. And I was close. I was so close to going to that Fiesta Bowl. I'm glad I didn't.
But
this will be up. This will be up there.
Did you expect them to lose to FSU like the way they did?
Nah, not like that.
But but did you think FSU would win?
Yeah. Here's the thing about that game. I actually thought it'd be worse than it was. And then in the middle of the game and towards the end, Mike Vick was giving me hope. And I was like, oh my God, if they win. It got to the point, when he scored that touchdown late and they were down by 8, I was like, dude, if they win this game. I had people pick on you because they were like, oh, the kid be crying over sport. Nah, nigga, there was tears coming down my face. I was like, come on. If they win, be the best. And then when they lost, I wasn't that upset, They were like tears of excitement. I was like, if they win, all I want, to be honest with you, I talk about sports a lot because I love sports. But in order of importance, Virginia Tech winning a national championship to me supersedes all that shit. Like I would love to see the Indians win a World Series. I would love to see the Eagles win a Super Bowl. I have seen Duke win national championships. Yeah, that's fine and dandy. But Virginia Tech winning a national championship will mean the world to me because I've been following this team since I was inside of the womb because my mom was a fan. You know,
Oh.
I want to see them win a national championship. It's nice, conference titles, bowl wins. You know, yeah, it makes me happy and all this stuff. But I want a national, at least before I die, and even after I die, just one. I want one, just one. Okay, I want Frank Beamer to do it, like to win this title, because like without him, we would have been nothing. And I know a lot of Florida State fans, fans in general, be like, well, why weren't they trying to get rid of Beamer? Because you guys have been kind of mediocre for like the past few years, and they wanted Bowden out the door, and you guys aren't doing that. There's a difference because Bowden was old, and it was kind of at the point where people knew it was inevitable. Like someone was going to replace him. It was just a matter of who would win. Like, yeah, Beamer, that hasn't really come up. You know what I mean? Like the hint of him even leaving hasn't really come up. I mean, it has been like Bud Foster's name's been kicked around, to take over for him after he leaves. And I'd be fine with that because we're usually good on defense. So I'd be totally fine with that. But Beamer has been like so just like he has been the program. Beamer ball. You know what I mean? Like he's been, Virginia Tech. And if anyone wins the title, because in my opinion, he's the best college, and a lot of motherfuckers gonna get mad at me for this. I don't care. He's the best college football coach to not win a national championship. Like, period. I don't even think it's close, in my opinion. Like, because he consistently wins at least 10 games, and we're always relevant to some extent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's been like that since he's been there. I'm just saying. His bowl record ain't the best. I get all that. But if we win, I want him to be the one to do it. That's my coach. That's my Virginia Tech Hokie coach. When I went to the preseason pep rally when I was 8 years old, like, he shook everyone's hand, and he shook mine. He shook my hand. So,
yeah.
want him to win. But I could do this all day, so I won't do it. So let's move on.
All right.
I love the Hokies. I love the Hokies.
I don't know if we have any other, we really have no other national relevant teams in the ACC, but I guess, Georgia Tech had a pretty good record last year. I mean, anything you want to say about them this season?
They'll always do that. They'll do that again.
Well,
that's what they do.
Is there really anyone else in this conference that you think can really make any noise?
No. I hate to say it, but no. Even though I do think it is deeper than it was last year, and people will see. They'll play better ball.
All right. Now we move on to the Pac-12 conference. And I know we have a lot to say about some of these teams here, but one of the first teams, I guess, maybe the biggest story in the probably the biggest story in the Pac-10. I mean the Pac-12. One of the biggest stories in all of college football. Chip Kelly, he's gone. How's Oregon going to do now? And they also lost. What's his name? Deion Jordan, now playing for the Miami Dolphins, and Kenyon Barner.
Yeah, there you go. That's the big one, in my opinion.
So, what's up with Oregon this year?
They'll still be a contender to win that conference. Like, it'll be business as usual because of the system. Like, that system won't be too much different. They got rid of Chip Kelly. Well, after Chip Kelly left, they just pretty much made his offensive coordinator the head coach. I think that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. So, it'd be the same system. They'll still put up like 30, 40 points again. That's what they do, so Oregon. Still be dropping 60, 70 points on people. It is what it is. I just think that them losing Kenyon Barner is the big difference to me because DeAnthony Thomas, he benefited from it was kind of like a Lindale White, Reggie Bush type deal. I don't think Reggie Bush would have been what he was at USC if he didn't have Lindale White. And, what's the name? DeAnthony Thomas just lost his Lindale White. So,
yeah.
I don't think, remember how it was every, sixth or seventh possession, he scored a touchdown? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to happen like that this year. He'll still be good, but I don't think that's going to happen. And Marcus Mariota, to me, is a dark horse Heisman candidate. Like, if they let him throw the ball more, because when he did last year, he was really good. But if they let him throw the ball more, and he can actually, consistently do it, watch out, man. This team, like, I don't see too much that's going to be different, to be honest with you. Like the Pac-12 is essentially going to be just as wide open as it was last year.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! So high praise for Mariota and Anthony Thomas, and their new systems and all.
They are the Alabama of the West Coast. They just reload every year.
I presume you think that the loss of Deion Jordan really isn't that big of a deal?
Because we didn't see him much at all at Oregon. I don't even get why he went so high in the draft, to be honest with you. But
here I can tell you a few stats. He played less than 50% of his snaps at Oregon on the defensive side of the ball. But dude, he's a genetic freak, man. I mean, Jesus, I've seen him in person too.
I get all that, kid, but he went high, kid.
I know he won numbers. He's on my team. Look, I don't know if you've seen any Dolphin preseason games, and it's no big deal if you haven't. No one has except myself because I'm a freak. But I've been to preseason games and I've been to many practices, and that dude can get to the quarterback with ease. Like, I'm not saying he'll be like Aldon Smith this season or anything like that, or even.
Well, he might because he got a Cameron Wake on the other side.
That is true. Like, he is I think the world of him. He will be a high caliber pass rusher. His ability to just get around and get to the quarterback is insane. Like, it's insane for someone who just started. Like, not only is he a rookie, but he didn't participate in the OTAs and he was hurt for a portion of training camp. So, like, he was behind the curve as is. And just to see him, like, in preseason against the Jags and against the Cowboys, and both those teams don't exactly have world-renowned offensive lines, but just to see him just, like, with ease, just, boom, get to the quarterback as a rookie, it's impressive. And, I mean, the D-lines are strength, obviously. I like him a lot. And, pass rushers that's a high-impact position in this league. I mean, take away quarterback. Like, it's not a coincidence that the top pass rushers in the NFL are currently on, like, Super Bowl contenders. You know what I mean? Like, the 49ers, the Texans, the Broncos. It's not a coincidence. That position is important. So that position is of high need.
I got you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's good. But yeah, I didn't think it would affect Oregon too much. But aside from Oregon, other teams in the conference, obviously it's wide open. I'm gonna go to your boys' alma mater, Stanford. They had a very impressive end of college football last year.
They won the game that I wish I hadn't been sick. Well, no, I picked that one. What was the one I was sick and I couldn't record? That was the Bama LSU. That was the Bama and A&M game. But yeah. I picked that one. Yeah, I picked the Stanford game. Andrew Luck said that Keith Hogan is a mini version of himself, and whatever base Luck says, I have to go with. So, yeah, if my Lord and Master says he's the next him, then I got to go with that. So I think Stanford's gonna win the conference just because the great and all powerful Andrew Luck said that he's the next him. I mean, who am I to argue with God? How you gonna debate with God? You can't do that. You can't do that. But no. In all seriousness, though, I do think they're gonna win that conference, and it isn't just because Andrew Luck said that. It's because I feel like they have most of their core back, minus their two big white linebackers. I forget the guy's name, but I just call them White and Ivory because they were too big and too mean linebackers. They just hit the shit out of you. But they lost both of them because they're both seniors. They both left. But everyone else is back though. Everybody except Stephon Taylor's gone too. But they just reloaded running back there too. Like they had Toby Gerhart, and then he came right in and was like killing people. So I ain't got no worries about that. I just think that the core of the team is back, and they should take care of business. I think they'll win that conference, even though that conference is wide open. I feel like UCLA is another team that can win that conference.
Was just about to get to them. Todd McShay released his I don't remember if it was top NFL draft prospects or top quarterbacks in college football, but one was Teddy Bridgewater, three was Stephen Morris, six was Marcus Mariota, seven was Johnny Football. Then it was probably draft prospects because they wouldn't rank Johnny Football seventh in a top college quarterbacks list, but. Four was AJ McCarron, and number two, ahead of Stephen Morris, ahead of AJ McCarron, ahead of Marcus Mariota, ahead of Johnny Football, was Brett Hundley for UCLA.
That dude can boogie. Like Stephen A. Smith would say, he can boogie. Like he can create in so many ways. Like he's Johnny Football without the craziness, to be honest with you. Like he can create in so many ways. That dude is really, really talented. Like that's why I think that people will see, because last year he came in like middle of the season. Like he wasn't starter when the season started. He will be starting every game this year. That team is dangerous. Dangerous, dog.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they're going I don't think they're gonna win the conference. I just don't think they're quite there yet. But if they did and like upset some people, win some games they shouldn't have, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Any other big teams in this conference that you want to really talk about? I honestly wouldn't know too much about any of these other boys.
Oregon State is another one. They're a year older. Pretty much the same team, minus a few people here and there. Pretty much the same team, though. They started the season 6-0 last year. I'm just saying. Crazy shit has happened, you know. Just saying. Don't forget about them. Arizona State, they were able to keep Will Sutton, who's the heart and soul of that D. He decided to come back one more time because, I think the main reason is because he didn't think he'd go that high in the draft. But but he was like a Star Luther type game changer. You know what I mean, on that side of the ball, he was not as good as Star. I think Star was the best defensive tackle since Vince Wilfork. That's just my opinion. And he's not that good, but he has that type of impact on a game. You know, so I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. Who knows? You know, I think that Stanford will win that conference, but that conference is completely wide open.
Now we get to your favorite team in all of college football. The team that we probably talked about the most in last year's podcast, talking about college football. University of Southern California, USC, with your boy, freaking wow, shit! I actually just forgot his name, and you only yelled it at me like 20,000 times last year, and I can't remember this guy's goddamn name. Let me get to it. Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, your boy Lane Kiffin.
Look, man, there's something about that last name. Like I know his dad is a legend in the NFL, dog. We all know this. Kind of revolutionized the way defense is played in the NFL at this juncture. You know what I mean? Kind of like the whole, hey, let's blitz everybody at a certain point in time. Him and Jim Johnson back for my Eagles. That was kind of like, you know, their thing. You know what I'm saying? And I get all that, but somehow he has his worst year as a defensive coordinator last year for USC, and then gets the Dallas Cowboys job. Something just don't add up.
Yeah.
like that defense set records for being as bad as they were at like school records. They last year, do you know they gave up? I think it was 4 games. I think could be 5. I know for a fact it was 4. It was 4 games where they gave up over 300 yards rushing.
Wow.
In a game. Like, doing that is just inexcusable. Like, in football, like 300 yards total offense, you know, that means your defense played pretty good. That's just running the ball. That's just controlling the clock and pounding you in the face. And it was 4 games last year where that team gave over 300 yards rushing. That is crazy. They gave up over 400 to Oregon. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's inexcusable. And then somehow he gets the Dallas Cowboys job? Come on now. That has a lot to do with Jerry Jones not knowing what he's doing, though, to be honest.
Pretty much, yeah. I was about to say.
But I mean, it's just crazy, though. Like, Lane Kiffin was at Tennessee fucking up, like completely failing. I mean, following up Phil Fulmer being as awful as you can be, and somehow he got the USC job. Like, do you realize that's the guy that replaced Pete Carroll, one of the greatest college? That's him. He was that guy. This guy. How does that happen? How does something like that happen? I don't understand. But Matt Whittick, Cody Kessler is between those two who's gonna be the starter. Um, I don't know who I'd go with because I think both of them are really talented. I hate that they have to play for Lane Kiffin and his defense that'll give up like 50 points a game, so they're gonna have to throw 50 million times a game. I feel so bad for either one of them because if they fail, the Trojan fans are gonna blame them, and it kind and Lane Kiffin is on his way out the door like that. Like I was talking to a USC fan on what was it on Tiny Chat because he had like his own little room and people come in and they talk to him and shit. He does this like every college football season. Diehard Trojans fan, and he was like, "Look, man," he was like, He said, I live in L.A. A lot of Trojans fans out here. We want this guy gone. Like if he fucks up again, and they keep him. He said you will see like attendance cut in directly in half for the first game at the Coliseum
Wow.
in 2014. I was like, "Is it that bad?" He's like, "Yeah, it's that bad." So I was like, "Yo, I can't imagine if he struggles this year, which he will, that he'll be there next season." So and Marquise Lee is another Heisman candidate, and he's just stuck. And I feel so bad for him because this team is 6-6, 5-7, waiting to happen. And
Yeah.
they're ranked in the coaches poll. How does this happen? How does this happen?
I don't know.
Now on defense they have more talent. I will admit that. They're probably deeper on the defense. Like, cause I'm gonna be real, they were decimated by injuries last year. But this is USC. Still, your second stringers should be better than that. That's just being this is not some bum program. I mean, we're not talking about fucking Washington. We're talking about Southern Cal. These are the
Yeah.
Trojans. You're recruiting in California, which next to Florida and Louisiana is probably the best state in terms of college football. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad.
Last season, they lost 5 of their last 6 games in losses to Arizona, Oregon, No, they beat Arizona State, UCLA, Notre Dame, and Georgia Tech. Oregon. I remember the week before that game, after seeing how they performed against Arizona, said that Oregon would drop 70 on them.
And they dropped, what, 65, right?
63, yeah.
It was close.
Yeah. So, not looking too good for the Trojans this year, to say the least. What about that dude they have at quarterback now? The dude that played last year in the Sun Bowl game.
Yeah, it was Whittick. But
Yeah.
they don't know. They might start Kessler. I've been hearing his name a lot too. So I don't know.
So just no hope for USC this year, it seems.
Not to win no conference title. Hell no.
And then I think that covers about all the major ground in the.
Yeah, nobody
Pac-12.
else worth talking about. Washington's going to be a little bit better, but they're not really going to do anything in it.
Yeah, completely understandable. All right, next we get to a pretty. Sorry, still a pretty noteworthy conference, Big Ten.
They are a lot better than last year.
A lot of hype on Ohio State this year based on their season last year. What do you have to say?
It's warranted. Same team. Braxton Miller with another year. A lot of people think he's going to win the Heisman. It's warranted, man. They're really good. I saw them a couple times last year. Not against the best competition in the world because the Pac-10 was kind of weak. I mean, the Pac-12. The Big Ten was kind of weak. So, it wasn't really. They didn't really blow me away. But Braxton Miller is really good. Like, and he's one of those guys that you can just see it. Like he was making like young guy mistakes. I mean, he reminded me honestly of like freshman Tebow. I'm not saying he's like Tebow because he's probably like more. He's definitely more athletic, but like the mistakes he used to make was like freshman, early season, sophomore until he went on that crazy run. Tebow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're good though, man. They're good, and they play defense too. They're good. Urban Meyer, man, he's amazing. Like he's the modern. He is the college football equivalent of Rick Pitino. Because no matter where he goes, he's gonna win. So
Yeah.
like he's gonna do what he does. See Alex Smith, see Tim Tebow, now Braxton Miller.
And Ohio State getting a lot of hype. So do you think early on, without looking at their schedule? I mean, I just looked at their schedule. It seems like it's very conceivable for them to go undefeated, except for obviously that huge game at Michigan.
Yo, that game has the potential to be the highest rated game in college football history. Would you like
Yeah,
to know why?
because both teams will probably be fighting for a national title berth.
Look at Michigan's schedule.
Going to right now. Hold on. Michigan's schedule is pretty easy. Pretty easy.
And Ohio State's is not that much more. I would say it's probably a little bit easier. Think about that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine like the pandemonium that get? Oh my! I hope it happens. As a college football fan, those are two other teams. It's great when they're really good too, because it's not North Carolina Duke. Nothing will be North Carolina Duke. But to me, that's the like people say Red Sox Yankees. That's because they've been around forever. Whatever. That's the closest thing to it, in my opinion. Ohio State, Michigan. That's the closest thing to it. And then back in the 90s, you had Cowboys and 49ers. That was up there too. But Ohio State, Michigan, man, when they're both good, everything is just better. I really hope that happens. Like I'm praying for that to happen. I'm rooting for Ohio State and Michigan every game to that game. Then I don't care. I don't care who wins that.
Well, speaking of Michigan, what are your thoughts on their team this year?
I can't really say much. I just know that pretty much the entire defense is back for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't like honestly. I've only seen like even last year, I'd only seen them about 3 or 4 times, so I can't really gauge too much. So I'm not even gonna act like I'm an expert on this team. So people tell me they're really good though. People I respect, so I'll go with that. Like if you get Kirk Herbstreit to admit that that's a really good team, and he went to Ohio State and he hates Michigan, that shit
Yep.
is obvious. That shit is obvious. Like for
Yep.
some of the stuff he says on College Game Day, if you get him to say that, then yeah, you're pretty good.
Next, we go to a team that made, for all the wrong reasons, a ton of national headlines last year, and ended up having a very surprising season, 8-4 record. How does Penn State look this year?
It doesn't matter.
I know they don't fight for. I know they won't have. I know they have sanctions against them, but how does the
I,
team look?
honestly, I couldn't tell you because I hadn't paid it because they it doesn't matter what they do. So,
Yeah, fair
but
enough.
last year that completely shocked me though, man. Like, oh my
Yeah,
God, man, Bill O'Brien is like the good God. That was incredible. That was just incredible.
yep, that was pretty impressive.
Like it had Chuck Pagano and not Rick Pitino this year, but the year before. Had those two not done what they did in 2012, he would have been like the best coach in sports in 2012.
Yep,
Like, because Rick Pitino, that team that just won a national championship, like that was the same team. And he still got them to the Final Four. And did you see how loaded the 2012 draft was?
yeah,
And then half of that team was injured coming into the NCAA tournament, and they still made the Final Four.
yep.
That dude's a beast. That
It,
that
and
dude's a beast.
and you didn't not to start talking about college football. You didn't believe in Louisville. I remember like mid-season, you told me you thought they were probably the most overrated team.
Yeah, because I thought talent wise they were bad. I still think they're not that talented. I just think he's that good of a coach. To be honest with you.
Fair enough. Any other team in the Big Ten that really jumps out at you? Michigan State, maybe.
If Andrew Maxwell is any better than he was last year, which I'd say is a safe bet because you can't be much worse. They'll they I feel like they can beat anyone in the conference on any given day. I feel like Illinois could do that. I feel like Northwestern can do that. Um, there's another it's another conference, man. It's just like really, really, really good from top to bottom.
But at the end of the day, you see Ohio State and Michigan being
Mainly Ohio State, but yeah, Michigan also.
fair enough.
Those are the two prohibited favorites.
Next we move on to the Big 12.
Oh my God!
The
Do
Big
we
10.
do we really do we really have to do this?
Yeah,
Really
we
got to
do.
talk about?
Yes, we do. I just want to say, the Big 10, I mean, The Big 12 has not been one of your favorite conferences to look at this year. But first off, the conference as a whole, how is it?
It's awful.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible. Like it's absolutely pathetic. And well, here's the thing. Looking at it, it is terrible. But that's because there's just so much unknown about this. Do
Yeah.
you know how many new starting quarterbacks there are in this conference this year?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like no Landry Jones. The guy from Oklahoma State is gone. I forget his name.
No.
Nick Florence is gone.
Nick Florence is gone. No Geno Smith. No Colin Klein.
This is crazy. Like I don't even know who to pick. Like I know by default you can go with Oklahoma, but I heard a few people say TCU, and I can see that happening because they have an NFL style defense. People struggle to score on them all the time. Even though last year they had a lot of injuries and people were scoring on them all the time. But Texas Tech even has a shot. It's so wide open, man. I don't know. I just don't fucking know, man. Like Baylor, Baylor, they score a lot of points. I can see them winning. It was.
Want to make it fun to watch? Just seeing all these teams that no one knows anything about, trying to.
But they'll play almost any good team from almost any other conference and probably lose whoever wins this conference.
Wow, fair enough. What about Bob Stoops?
Yeah. I know for a fact. My sources tell me. I'm pulling a Stephen A. Smith. I won't reveal who those sources are, but someone that is close to the Oklahoma. Oh, I'll probably tell you off the air, kid.
Okay.
But someone who is close to the Oklahoma program has been pretty much saying that the dean, the athletic director, almost everyone is getting tired of Bob Stoops.
Wow.
Like because it's gotten to the point now where they've put a lot of money into the Oklahoma program. A lot of people show up to the games and stuff, but the brass and the alumni, like some of the older players that were there before, they're getting tired of seeing other people win. I'm just saying, changes may happen. I'll just say that.
I mean, how many straight? I mean, I can look. I was actually about to look it up right now. Oklahoma last season was actually, let me just type in Stoops. I mean, they're still great at home, right?
Yeah, obviously. But
Yeah.
look at Stoops. Look at Stoops' bowl record since he's been in Oklahoma.
Not good.
It's awful.
I can count it right here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's 7-5. I know 5-7. 5-7. I think.
Look at BCS bowl record.
Oh, I mean, isn't that 1 and fuck? I don't know. Hold on. 1. Cotton's a loss. Fiesta's a win.
That's but Cotton's not BCS.
Cotton's not BCS?
No.
Oh, okay, I keep thinking it is. Okay, Fiesta, that's BCS.
Yeah.
All right, that's a win. The national title, that's a loss. Fiesta's a loss. Fiesta's a loss. Orange is a loss. Sugar's a loss.
Look at that.
Rose is a win. He's 2-5.
That's terrible. At Oklahoma, and I know it's not fair because they were pretty much a joke before he got there. Like during the 90s, they weren't very good, which had a lot of the alumni mad because 70s, mainly the 70s, they were one of the power teams in college football. Now, I'm just saying, like I've heard from some pretty reliable sources, some even in the NFL.
Wow.
That are not. Well, I mean, I hadn't heard from the guys personally, but I heard from someone who knows these people that they are not happy with Bob Stoops. One is a very noteworthy player in the NFL that I will not reveal. Y'all can kind of read into that if y'all know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But that I've heard from someone who knows this person that says that he's talked to Bob Stoops and he is incredibly stubborn at this point.
Wow. And did he not do that well in the recruiting class this year?
No, and it's weird because this is Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, do not be surprised if they struggle this year and you hear all this stuff about him resigning at the end of the season.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Like,
quotes around resigning.
yes.
I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying that it is very likely it might happen. Very likely. Like there's only so much. Like this is not like Virginia Tech, or we were just talking about, where winning is kind of cool to do. This is Oklahoma. This is one of the power teams in college football. Like Nick Saban was like had 5 years where he was just struggling and wasn't winning any bowl games. His job would be on the line because that's the standard he set for himself at
Yep.
Alabama. To be honest, but
Yep.
I, people are sick of this shit, man. He's been there for 12 years now. Hasn't been 12 years? 12 years. The bowl record is horrible. It's terrible. The
Yeah.
BCS record is even worse. Just saying.
This is not good. No. Next, so Bob Stoops is on the watch. And I guess that kind of wraps up the Big 12.
There's also a rumor that this is just a rumor, but yeah, I was reading somewhere that Mac Brown might be taking some time off. So,
Oh, okay. He's another one who's been like kind of.
but listen here, they'll never fire that dude.
Why?
Because he keeps putting them in a position to where you can't fire me. Every time my name come up, I'm gonna finish strong and win my bowl game, so you can't fire me.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Who you gonna find? That's his whole. Who you gonna find?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, then they haven't been. What you call it? He goes. Last year they went what 9-3, and then they won they went 8-4, but then they won the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah. And he finished like winning the last 3 games. They killed West Virginia. Remember that?
Yep, I do. All right, now we'll go to the fallen, decrepit Big East Conference, which is kind of one by one over the years, just dropping and dropping and dropping. Basically, is there anybody else to talk about aside from Teddy Bridgewater? Not even Louisville, Teddy Bridgewater.
Louisville's a good team, man. They just got they got Michael Dyer too, man. That's huge.
He's good too.
If he's in shape and he wants to win and he cares about football, that dude's a stud, man. He's been going through some personal stuff. Just some demons. He's been away from the game last year and all sorts of shit.
So how do you feel about Louisville and Bridgewater this year?
They'll probably win this conference and run the table and not play for a national championship.
Oh.
What's their schedule look like?
Ohio, Eastern Kentucky, FIU, Temple, Rutgers, UCF, USF, Connecticut, Houston, Memphis, Cincinnati.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
They'll probably and you know what? Nobody will care. Nobody will care. They will be the team that runs the table and no one says a word about it.
Do you think like Alabama loses to Texas A&M and like every other major team in college football has a loss except Louisville? Do you think they still wouldn't make the game?
Man, it is possible. That's how bad that schedule is, man. That could happen. That could really happen.
Because, I mean, I'm just like, all Bama has to do is lose week 3. And then, like, or at the very least, get one of the spots. I mean, if every major conference has a loss, every major team.
Like, could you imagine that, though?
Yeah.
Louisville's the one lone. Well, you know what? No, I can't imagine. I can't imagine that.
I mean, I know it was a year ago, but they did beat the Gators pretty handily.
Yeah, but that's just how good. Dog, they're really good. That's a really good team.
They're really good.
Teddy Bridgewater reminds me of a hybrid of like Carson Palmer and like Geno Smith.
Damn.
Like he has like a Geno Smith type brain where he just breaks down situations. And you got Carson Palmer type instincts and when he was at USC, toughness, not really because he missed a lot of time over bullshit in NFL, but like when he was at USC, that dude was tough. I told you saw the game against who was that, Rutgers, where he had like the broke wrist leg. And like one leg and still had 315 yards. Like, that dude's tough, man. He's and he has that little bit of Brett Favre in him, man. He's an intelligent gunslinger. That dude, like I would gush over him more had he not come out 2 years after the two greatest men to ever play college football. I'm just you know now he's gonna be a stud though. I really believe that he's gonna be a stud at the next level. He's legit.
He's also a Heisman favorite. I mean, pretty significant one too. I'm not saying he'll win.
Nice segue. Nice segue.
Yeah. You see, I know what I'm doing. I knew there's nothing really else to talk about in that conference. He's a pretty significant Heisman favorite. I mean, I know he's on a team in a conference that no one cares about with the schedule. That's ridiculous, but he has been getting a lot of hype about it lately. And officially for our Heisman portion of this video, who are you taking?
I'll tell you why he's like a big Heisman candidate though, because people expect him to have even crazier numbers than he did last year. Look at his numbers last year; it was kind of ridiculous.
It was 3,700 yards and 27 touchdowns, and I presume not that many interceptions.
No, I think it was like 4 on the whole season, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
He had a stretch. He had a stretch where he threw like what was it, like 200 some odd passes, didn't have a pick.
Yep.
Like, that's crazy. That's just especially in college football. That's hard to do. But to win the Heisman this year, very tentatively, T.J. Yeldon is my pick to win the Heisman because Alabama likes to run the ball. They'll be the prohibited favorites in like every game. He won't have to share carries this year, and I think that dude's gonna have a huge season. So I'm going with him, very tentatively.
That's fair. And seeing as how they probably won't lose a game, I mean, he'll certainly. It's not like Geno, where once he starts losing, like the hype for him kind of drops, as it is with almost every quarterback.
He was playing worse too, though. Like he wasn't,
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad by any stretch, but he was having like these video game crazy NCAA football numbers.
Yeah.
And then he went to like real life, where he was just good or really good. And
it wasn't the same. But I mean, there's not really a whole lot.
What, Heisman candidates?
No. I wasn't going to say that. There's not a whole lot that Yeldon. I mean, unless Yeldon really collapses, like I don't see how he would like hurt his own stock. Like it's not like with McCarron, where if they start losing, I could see like McCarron last year was.
Why? Hold on, time out. Why is his name coming up at all?
He was fuck. A lot of people have been talking about him with this stuff.
He's the quarterback on the best team in the country. Like that automatically like he's not the best player on that team. He's not the player. Like if he wins the Heisman, that award has no credibility at all. Like it is just. Come on. Think about it. He's honestly think about it. He is the who's a good example. He is the Elvis Gerbach of this team.
I don't even know who that is. Holy shit.
The Trent Dilfer of this team. The Brad Johnson of this. You know what I mean? Like he's good. He's pretty good. But he's on an amazing squad. That's just incredible.
Who's Elvis Gerbach?
Elvis Gerbach was the quarterback the year after the Ravens won the Super Bowl the first time. And the year after that. 2 years, like the next 2 years, he was the quarterback.
For the Ravens? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I've never even heard his name before. Wow.
See, there you go. And Trent Dilfer, he was the quarterback of that team.
Obviously.
Brad Johnson was the quarterback, even though he had a really good season that was underrated. But still, like he was the game manager. They weren't relying on him to win games.
If this makes you happy, I'm actually looking at the odds right now, and A.J. McCarron is 4th and most likely to win the Heisman.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Who's number 1, Manziel?
Number 1 is Johnny Football. Johnny Football has a 9-2 odds, aka 4.5 to 1 odds, which a lot of people expect that. Number 2 is Braxton Miller.
I could see it.
Yeah.
This is year 3 with Urban Meyer, and aside from Tim Tebow, that's the year that most guys like sprout. Alex Smith. That's what happened with him.
Yeah. So they got Braxton at 3, then they got Yeldon. I mean, Braxton at 2, Yeldon at 3, then McCarron, and then 4-5 is the only defensive player on the list, Jadeveon Clowney.
Okay, here's the thing though. that this bugs me about this award. Jadeveon Clowney has no shot to win it,
Yeah.
and it bothers me because this is the best player I've seen. And not counting Andrew Luck because that was a different type of deal. But like he's better. Like in terms of him being in his position, RG3 being in his position, he's better than him. I mean, I think it's pretty noticeable. Um, who's some other top guys at their position to come out?
That's come out recently.
Yeah,
Was Von Miller?
he's better than him.
Cam?
He's better than Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's that good, and he won't win this award. He could have the only chance he has. He has two opportunities. He has to have a lot of turnovers this year. Like he has to force a lot of fumbles. That has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other chance he has is if he has 30 sacks. Only other chance he has.
30 sacks.
30 sacks. Or 25 or
What's
something
T
crazy
Sizzle's record?
24.
Wow.
Like if he has like 25-ish, 25 to 30, he might be able to do it. But I mean, some of the other ones, I was talking about Marcus Mariota. If he throws the ball more, especially how much they score, I can see him doing it. I want his. I'm looking at this little list I found.
Teddy Bridge is on here.
He's the best quarterback in the country.
Yeah.
He'll probably finish with like the most efficient season, but people look at his schedule and like that's why I didn't even bring him up because people look at his schedule like who's even playing all year? Who cares?
One guy who's high on here is Aaron Murray.
Moving on.
DeAnthony Thomas is on here. Duke Johnson is on here.
Because he's gonna DeAnthony Thomas is explosive. He's gonna score like Duke Johnson. I mean, I think it'd probably be more so Stephen Morris, man. I think he'll be the guy with like the like it'll be like Kadeem Carey, not Kadeem Carey, Kenyon Barner and DeAnthony Thomas last year, where Duke could do all the incredible, astounding stuff, but Stephen Morris will have like the signature plays of the year that wins y'all games.
Okay.
I mean, like the last minute drive heroic stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's just me. Marquise Lee is the second best player in the country, but who God knows who's gonna throw on the ball. So
Taj Boyd's on here. Taylor Martinez, quarterback from Nebraska.
What?
Yeah, he's on this list that I'm seeing right now.
What?
And so is Devin Gardner from Michigan.
I can see that. But Taylor Martinez? Really? Really, dog?
Well, here's one. 40-1 odds. Jeff Driscoll.
Yeah, 40-1 is being nice.
But he's like 15th on this list. 15th player most likely to win the Heisman, Jeff Driscoll.
That's crazy. But, like I said, my pick, TJ Yeldon, that's very tentative. All right, let me just narrow it down to like 3. Okay.
Oh, also, before you do that, just want to mention a few more names here. Blake Bell is the quarterback for Oklahoma. That's the guy.
I keep hearing from a lot of people, especially people that like really follow Oklahoma. They keep saying this boy is better than Landry Jones. Man, we're gonna find out because I know he's more agile. I know he's more athletic. I know he's definitely stronger. Remember, they used to use him on goal line situations just to score like a Tebow like battering ram.
It's gonna be exciting to see.
But people say that he's a better passer than Jones, which is crazy when you think about it.
That would be really cool to see. So, damn man, we'll see. Bob Stoops' job's on the line after all. We never said that.
Don't quote me on that. I'm just.
I won't. And the other one is a guy you're high on, Kadeem Carey.
That dude is amazing. Problem is that his team cannot stop anyone, so his numbers get kind of overlooked. But he can run on anybody, and he showed it last year. Like he do you know that he was the only guy to put up multiple touchdowns rushing against Stanford last year?
Wow.
The only dude.
The only one in all of college football. Damn.
The only one in all of college football.
So who's your top 3?
TJ Yeldon, like I said. Manziel being second, Jadeveon Clowney being third.
Fair enough. If Johnny Football beats Alabama, do you think he would be the prohibitive favorite?
All he got to do is not fuck up for the rest of the year, and then yeah.
Okay. So who do you think will win right now? Like just your gut.
Like if like who do I think they would vote for?
Yeah.
Probably like Braxton Miller or something like that.
Also, you said that last season, coincidentally. I
Oh
remember
yeah,
that as well.
oh yeah. But
Braxton was in your top three. I don't think you picked him, but he was in your top three.
who did I pick last year?
It was like you had Braxton, Miller. Um, I know Phil had Marcus Lattimore.
I think I had him up there too, didn't I?
I think you had Lattimore, Braxton Miller. I mean, you didn't have football, but no one did.
But
Uh,
but I was the one that said this guy, he's coming. You was like,
yeah.
who the hell is that? Who is that guy? Never even heard that name before. I was like, all right.
And I mean, I don't know if you had Gino on there. I know that was the favorite from the start, but
I know after he had that 500-yard, 6 touchdown performance, I was like, yo, this dude, all he got to do is just be good and keep winning.
that couldn't happen. Oh, and a lot of people had Barkley winning the Heisman too.
Yeah, that was my pick.
Yeah.
Barkley was I do remember now. Barkley was my pick.
So that's the Heisman favorites. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, everything with the Heisman is week by week. You never know. Maybe someone else will. Maybe Blake Bell comes out of nowhere and Oklahoma runs the table. Who
People,
knows?
people are telling me that dude can throw, man. Like a lot of people compare that guy to Tebow. I'm like, man, Tebow, as I always say, best college quarterback of all time. Can't throw for shit in the NFL though. Best college quarterback of all time.
We'll see. Like I
You know,
said,
I had to throw that in there.
yes, you always do. Hey, man, he's on a roster right now.
Yeah, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad he's somewhere where we know who's the quarterback, and there's no chance that we'll hear any stupid Tebow chants next year. Unless Tom Brady just comes out and it's terrible.
I'm so glad that he's actually going to get a fair shot in the summer. Because, as my uncle astutely pointed out, his rookie year there was a holdout, so he didn't really play much at training camp. The next season was the lockout. And then this past season was with the Jets with that disaster. He's never been given with a set, stable program in an offseason to learn how to adjust to the game better.
So he'll find out that he can't play quarterback in the NFL a lot fairer this time. Okay, all right.
Or he could, I don't know, now that he's actually coached, get better.
You think he's the heir apparent to Tom Brady? You think so?
No, no, but
You know, Skip Bayless said out in the air. I was like, man, it's time to go. It's time to go, Skip.
I mean, Brady says he wants to play till he's 40, although obviously that's kind of,
That's not gonna happen.
I think he's got 3 years left.
I mean, till he's 40, maybe, but like after that, like I can't see him being like. Why would anyone want to do that?
I have no idea. Maybe just to get that ring.
If he don't get it by the time he's 40, it ain't gonna happen.
That is dead. That is for damn sure. Hell, that article that said the decline of Tom Brady. Oh, that's such a great article.
Oh, shut up, nigga.
It legitimately, hey, it just gives you facts. It gives you numbers. It gives you stats to prove that his abilities as a quarterback have been going down every year the past 3 years.
I'd still take him over 98% of the league.
Yeah, he's still great. He's still fantastic. But I do.
Except two guys. That bad man. And you know that other guy, number 18. Forget his name. What's his name? Maton Panning or something.
The true bad man. The baddest man of all time.
You know, Skip Bayless does. The batter man, Tom Brady.
Don't worry, that guy shouldn't be much on air. But hey, his college football opinion doesn't suck. I must admit.
Huh?
It's not awful.
It's bad. It's just bad.
The one thing that he's somewhat tolerable at is the college game.
I'll say that. He does watch a lot. Probably watches more than me, if you can believe it.
Yeah, he was with you that, the title game 2 years ago should have been Bama LSU. College football's fun because it's a national championship game every week. He knows some stuff. I mean, he did say Johnny Football is quote unquote way better than Tim Tebow, but that's for another day.
I think that dude is crazy at the college level.
Yeah.
He's fucking insane. Like how quick people forget how good Tim Tebow was amazing in college. And this
Yeah.
is coming. This is coming from me. This is coming from me. Y'all know I ain't no NFL Tebow fan, but when he was in college,
The best.
ever, like period,
I had a
not
fr-
debatable.
I had a friend try to argue with me that Cam Newton was better the other day.
That friend of yours is an idiot.
Good to
Cam
know.
Cam Cam Newton had one season in the FBS. That
Yeah.
was really good, but Tim Tebow, fucking 2 national championships, 3-time Heisman finalist out.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
He was something special. All right. Now we get to the title game predictions. You got two teams. Name them.
All right, I have a question. Is this who I want to be in the title games? Who I
Both.
think gonna be?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Both.
All right. This is what I think will happen. Um, Alabama and the Pac-12 winner, whoever that might be.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. Damn, I did not expect that at all, actually.
because I think that everyone will have a loss except Bama. I really believe that.
Even Louisville?
Yeah. Well. Even if they don't, I mean, it's just really doubtful they'll be in that game. Seriously.
Fair enough.
That's just being honest. And if they played Bama, I'm sorry, I don't want to see that.
Hey, they took out Florida.
That's not Bama.
Don't they have a better defense? Didn't they have a better defense than Bama last year?
Well, the argument could be made, but that's still not Bama.
Fair enough.
But what I want to happen is Bama versus Ohio State. So I want to happen.
Why do you want that? What do you want Ohio State?
Because I know Urban Meyer knows how to beat Bama.
Nick Saban, you mean?
Or Bama, Nick Saban, either way. He knows how to do it.
And are you saying you want Bama to lose?
I'm saying that I want it to be one of the. I don't care who wins or loses because I love college football, but I want it to be an amazing game to shut people up. Like, they don't have to win. They don't have to. I don't give a fuck if they win. They just have to give Bama the best game that we have ever seen. So people can be like, "Well, can't nobody play with the SEC?" Well,
Yeah, exactly. But why? I'm curious. Why do you think the Pac-12 winner would go ahead of Ohio State, for example?
because that conference is better.
And who do we pick to win the Pac-12? Stanford?
I picked Stanford. But
Yeah, so we're basically saying a Stanford Bama.
yeah, but even if it's Oregon Bama.
Okay. That'd be quite the story. Oregon winning the national championship game after Chip Kelly leaves.
That would make me laugh so hard.
Yeah. That'd be something.
Because apparently he revolutionized college football and all that. I really don't think he did. What I think he did was just take Pete Carroll's offense and just say, now do it times 50. That's pretty much what he did.
Yeah.
Whatever. It didn't revolutionize the thing. He's just doing it 50 times faster. That's all.
So it looks like we got Bama, Stanford, Bama, Oregon, or Bama, Ohio State. But if Texas A&M pulls out the win, then
all bets are off at that point.
so you wouldn't just switch in Texas A&M for Bama, like
No, because it's not a guarantee A&M would beat South Carolina or Georgia or even Florida.
Hey, Florida and LSU beat them last year.
See, there you
Johnny Football was, especially that game against Florida, the first game of the season.
go. The first half he was great though. In the second half he wasn't.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't watch the game, admittedly. I was just
That was the game that made me go, like, because he had like 4 players in that game. I was like, yo, this guy is amazing. And then he had this one bonehead play where he threw the ball past the line of scrimmage. And I was like, wow.
yeah.
And then remember the next week, I was like, man, y'all got to see this kid named Johnny Football, man. So they call him.
Who coined that term?
I don't know. Somebody out in Texas.
Fair enough. All right. What are the odds? Like here, I'll give you the odds. Markeem's odds, like from 0% to 100%. Very quickly, I have 5 teams here written down. You give me the percentage of them making the national title game, all right?
Okay.
Virginia Tech.
0.
Sorry, I had to throw that one in there. Michigan.
15%.
Florida.
45%.
Georgia.
Same, 45%.
University of Miami.
Uh, 9%, like 10 to 9%.
UCLA.
Like 3%.
And finally, I'll throw one more in there just for the kicks. Florida State.
Less than you guys. What is it? Nah, like 6%.
And the teams we've already mentioned. Bama.
100%.
Wow. Not even like
yo, like the only game that's even remotely worth talking about is A&M. That's how easy their schedule is,
they
man.
also got that SEC title game.
I mean, well, okay, for shits and giggles, I'll say 90%.
I gotta say, I get that they have a very good chance of winning the rematch, but don't just completely discredit Johnny Football like that.
I'm not. I'm not. It's just that team, man. That team.
Texas A&M.
Like 50, 55, 50. If they beat Bama, they have the best chance.
Stanford.
I think they're gonna win the Pac-12. I said the Pac-12 winner. So like around like 40, 48, 50%.
Oregon.
A little less than Stanford, like 46, 45.
And finally, Ohio State.
40, like right at 40. A lot of people think it's just gonna be they're gonna run the table. So I mean not the Pac-10, the Big Ten, man, hostile environments. Any given week, you play bad, lose a game, man. It can happen.
Also, finally, a team that we have not talked about that obviously was kind of a big deal last season, and we haven't even mentioned their names yet. But how's Notre Dame looking this year?
They are probably a better team overall. It's just their schedule is a little bit harder, and they probably will have like the thing is that Everett Golston's not there anymore, so they're gonna have to start Tommy Reese. That's not good. That's not good for them at all. Not good. But honestly, on offense, they're probably better.
What would you give their record this year?
Um, 8 to 10 games, I can see. I can see it happen.
I remember when you first found out Tommy Reese, like your immediate reaction, like when I asked, like, "How's Tommy Reese?" and you're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah, yeah. But I had to think about it. Like being realistic, probably they'll win. Like remember, I was like 5 games. That dude, he's no good though, man. He was, he lost his job to a straight up freshman.
"Yep, fair enough." But do you see them being any sort of player in the national level?
Not this year. Even though I do think they're more well rounded, but not
If
this year.
if Everett Golson was playing, would you change your mind?
I still feel the same. I feel like they'd be a really good team that can sneak into the BCS, but not as an at large, but not national championship. No.
So just because their schedule's harder?
Yeah, but I mean,
They lost Teo, I know.
I think they're more well rounded, but that's kind of a big deal.
Monty, but I
Yeah.
thought he sucked it because he sucked in the national title game.
As a meaning, he still had 10 like he still was in the right positions. He just wasn't finishing plays. Like he had 10 tackles in that game. Could have had like 19.
Yeah, they were.
Let's look at their schedule this year. They go at Michigan,
They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose that game.
and they go at Stanford.
They're gonna lose that one.
So okay, so we have them losing to Michigan and to Stanford, and obviously anything else could happen in other games. Yeah, it's not. Wouldn't surprise me to see them go like 8, 9, 10 games.
Yeah, but it's no national championship. Sorry.
Fair enough. All right, let's go into best off seasons. I guess is kind of just more along the lines of like who retained a lot from last year.
Stanford, Ohio State.
Us.
Yeah, you guys are probably the best example of that. Miami, obviously. I'd say Michigan relatively. Um, Oregon minus Deion Jordan and Kenyon Barner. It's pretty much the same team. Um, you know, I mean Bama because they kept McCarron, and Yeldon. Them two, I would say.
Fair enough.
Georgia,
Who and what big player took a big hit when it came to losing talent?
Notre Dame because they lost Manti Te'o and Everett Golston. Um, people laugh when I say this, but Michigan, they losing Denard Robinson. Laugh at him being a quarterback all you want. Anyone will tell you he was the leader of that team. You know what I mean? That's a big loss, man. Like, laugh all you want to, but I still think they're a really good team, probably better, but that's still a big loss. Like, imagine if they had this team, not him throwing passes, but him on the team, they'd be that much better.
Yeah.
Um, who's another? Oklahoma lost Landry Jones, and Blake Bell's such a question mark. We don't know what's gonna happen. Nick Florence away from Baylor. I mean, um, shit. Geno Smith gone from West Virginia.
Fair enough. Nick Florence, straight up, just quit football, from what I read.
Yeah, because he knew he wasn't gonna get drafted. So,
I mean, could he have been an unsigned free agent?
I mean, I don't know, but I don't blame him. Go get a desk job, dude. You went to Baylor. That's a good school.
Fair enough. And finally, we're gonna do a top 3 to 5 ranking. Quarterback, running back, receiver, defense that you know of. Quarterback, as far as in the college game, who are your top 5 in order?
As like NFL prospects or
No,
just
no,
in the
no.
college?
Strictly in the college game.
Johnny Football, Teddy Bridgewater. That third one's kind of hard. Um, hmm. Braxton Miller, I guess. Braxton Miller. Yeah, Braxton Miller.
Yeah.
I throw in Keith Hogan just because of what Andrew Luck said. But
And one more?
Marcos Mariota.
Okay.
Even though Mariota's ahead of Hogan, but
No love for Stephen Morris, dude?
well, him too. I forgot about him. So yeah, I guess I got to take out Keith Hogan. I don't like doing that though.
The God himself. Man, if Keith Hogan wins a national championship game this year.
I probably cry, man, because Andrew Luck could have got one, but it's bad luck happened to him. No pun intended. Like each time, so.
He had Cam running wild.
And then he had that hiccup against Oregon that year, and where they were beating them by 28, and then in the third quarter they tied the game, and then after that Stanford couldn't score anymore. Shit was wild.
All right. Running backs.
T.J. Yeldon, Duke Johnson. Those are my top 2, like off the top of the head. Like I'm talking about just in terms of how good they'll be this year. Either Kadeem Carey or Todd Gurley, one of those 2.
And then what? D'Anthony Thomas would fall to 5.
I don't want to do that because he.
Man, Kenyon Barner is that important, huh?
In my opinion, yeah. Well, I guess so. I guess by default, kind of gotta. I can't think of anyone else.
So yeah, okay, that covers it with the running backs. Now let's move to the wide receiver position. Who are your top guys there?
Marquise Lee. Man, this kind of thin this year. Trying to think. So I'm trying to put the guy from A&M, Evans.
Mike Evans.
I mean, then after that, there's really no elite ones if you think about it.
Amari Cooper.
I mean, would you call him elite though?
I can't. I wouldn't be able to say. Fair enough.
I don't know. We just go with those 2 because they're elite. Those 2 are elite.
And all of defense.
Jadeveon Clowney, obviously. Um, we're just talking about strictly the college level, right?
Yeah.
Um, Clowney, uh, Sutton, just because of what impact he has on the game, and this is kind of difficult. Put me on the spot, you know that kid.
That's what I do best.
Like all like the really top ones winning the draft last year, man.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to predict in August. I'm sure we'll have a better idea of this list in September.
I don't know, but I'll just say that those two are the ones that completely change the game.
Fair enough.
And they're both linemen, so think about that.
Here's something you can answer in August. Coaches, top 5.
Oh, top 5 coaches? That's easy. Nick Saban, Urban Meyer. I guess it's not Nick Saban or
Shaw.
From Stan. Yeah, I guess Shaw. I guess.
The dude from Louisville.
Strong.
Yeah.
I mean, is it so much him or just Teddy Bridgewater?
Fair enough.
I mean, I guess we'll throw Strong in there. Bielema, I think, is amazing. I think as an X's and O's coach, just amazing. He don't get the credit he deserves. I'm gonna say Bielema, and obviously Kevin Sumlin at Texas A&M. There you go.
No love for Mark Richt.
Hell no. No love for Bob Stoops. No love for.
One of my best friends.
Definitely no love for Lane Kiffin.
One of my best friends really loves Mark Richt.
Now, is he a Georgia fan?
No, he just he thought Mark Richt could have coached for us when we were looking for a coach, and he got all excited. He's a big Mark Richt fan.
Like, yo, he is a good coach. It's just in game he is not. Like, no, Scott Brooks is a good coach before the game starts.
Fair enough.
Like when the game starts, he's not that guy. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Oh, my top 5 cheerleaders. No, I'm kidding.
I'm also curious because we didn't really mention them a whole lot. How do you think Kansas State looks this year? I mean, they were such a big player last year.
They are awful.
I mean, yeah, I know Klein's gone, but
that's all you need to say. Like, he was the MVP of college football last year. They went as he went, and we see struggle. The whole team struggled. He's gone. It's a wrap.
Unfortunately.
Like, they'll win like 4 games next year.
Damn.
Or this season. Like 4 games this season.
That UCLA lost.
They play UCLA?
No, I'm saying that UCLA lost last year.
Yeah. That completely fucked. No, it was Baylor. Baylor beat them.
Baylor.
Yeah, that completely fucked. Like, yo, they had a shot right there. Play for them. I mean, they get killed by Bama, but they had a...
Nah, I mean, yeah, I guess. And that Oregon lost, too, to Stanford.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if they would have ran the table, let's say they ran the table, Oregon lost, and Notre Dame ran the table, they would play Bama. Like, they probably would have played Bama.
And they wouldn't have played Notre Dame?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Notre Dame. They were undefeated, too. Yeah, I forgot.
So who do you think would have won that? Notre Dame and Kansas State?
Ooh. I don't know. I say Notre Dame because, the defense, I would say.
Fair enough. All right, now very quickly before we head out, just give your quick thoughts on the Eagles, how they look this season. Chip Kelly, Jeremy Maclin. Fire away.
We're gonna suck.
Wow.
Before I was a little bit optimistic, but then when Jeremy Maclin got hurt and Riley Cooper, who loves the N-word apparently, when I found out he was going to be our second, yeah. We're gonna suck. Like, we're not gonna score. Like, I don't care how much Chip Kelly decides to run as many plays as he can. We're not gonna be moving that much.
Predicted record?
Better than last year, like 7-9, 6-10.
Man, Michael Vick, man, the quarterback of the future.
Yeah, whatever.
Were you mad that they brought him back?
No, because Chip Kelly is the coach. If it was anyone else, I'd be like, why the fuck is he still here?
Well, because of Chip Kelly, you think, yeah, maybe the best guy to get some juice out of Vic?
Yeah, because of his system.
Yeah.
But I mean, anyone else, I would have been like, fuck this. This is not gonna fly.
So no hope for anything. And you guys also lost, I think, Aurelius Ben or whatever his name is. One of the third string receivers also got out for the year. But so yeah, you're not too optimistic about the Eagles.
No. I mean, I hope they don't embarrass themselves again. And then the defense, I think, is still gonna be ass. So, whatever.
Got rid of Namdi.
Oh god, did you hear he barely made the Niners like roster or some shit like that? I was reading.
Really?
Yeah, like they was. I know they were talking about it on First Take, and I looked it up, and I was like, yo, that's true.
Oh, that he almost like got cut?
Yeah, he almost got cut.
Jesus.
But hey, that's the guy that Phil said he'd take over.
Darrell Reeves.
Darrell Reeves. I'm sorry, Phil. Always gonna fuck with you about that.
Oh, good lord. Well, anyways, that about does it for us today. This is a long-ass video, but filled with great college football talk that I know Marquis been dying to get off his chest.
And you and Phil are gonna go just as long, so don't.
Yes, this is going to be like a 5-hour YouTube take. But that's why we all love football. Both sides of it.
Break it up in 2 parts.
That's what I'll probably do. That's what I did for the famous video where you compared Brett Favre and LeBron James and absolutely berated Brett Favre.
Oh yeah.
I still watch that video from time to time. That scene.
Because he's a dick.
God damn it. But anyways, that does it for us. I'm Big Red 310.
Oh, your Nightmare Baller? Holla.
Thank you all for listening. We appreciate it.
Hey, hold on.
What?
Before you guys get out of here, check out my comic book channel, Nightmare Comics 1. I don't make wrestling videos anymore. Fuck that sport. And I'll holla at y'all. Peace.
All right. Peace.